Hello and welcome back. In this lesson we are going to do a couple final touches to our image. We're going to sharpen them up and add a warming filter. So if you're ready, go ahead and get started. As you have learned in previous lessons, in order to add sharpening non-destructively, we need to create a stamp layer, and to do that we're going to hold down a whole bunch of keys. We're going to hold down the Shift key, the Alt or Option key, plus the Command or Option key, plus the letter E. And now we have our stamp layer. We're going to go ahead and change the blending mode to Overlay. Then we're going to go up to Filter, Other, and select High Pass. And now we can adjust the amount of sharpening from 0.5 to 2 pixels, depending on the quality of your image and how much sharpening you want to apply. I'm going to put 1.7 for this particular image. Click OK. Okay, so we now need to add a layer mask. We're going to click on this icon right here. We have our layer. We now have our layer mask. Let's go ahead and invert it with Command or Control and the letter I. That changes it to black. Let's go ahead and rename the layer to Sharpening. Go ahead and grab your brush. And then I'm going to use my bracket keys to increase the brush size. My zoom tool is the letter Z. Zoom in just a little bit. Back to our brush with the letter B. And I want to sharpen up the eyes, the hair, and some of the clothing over here. So to do that, go ahead and make sure your layer mask is selected. And now we can paint on with white in order to add that sharpening where we want it. So just in the hair, the eyes, the lips, and I'm going to sharpen up this belt, maybe the jewelry. And I'm going to come down here and sharpen up her shoes. Now in order to navigate from one side to the other, I'm holding down my space bar and I get this little hand icon. That lets me know that I can then click and grab the canvas and then move it around to navigate to other parts of the photo. So I'm just going to sharpen up the shoes a little bit. Alright, I think we are all set. If we double click on our hand over here, we will fit the canvas back into our window, and that's it for our sharpening. Our sharpening is now done. If you take a look at the layer mask, we can see there's white in there. That's where we applied the sharpening. And of course, we can always adjust the opacity. If we find that it's too sharp, we can lower the opacity. I'm going to try 80%, 90%. Nope, I think I'm going to leave it at 80% for the opacity, and we are almost done. Alright, we are now going to add another adjustment layer. So we're going to come down here, click here, and select Photo Filter. So this particular photo filter will allow us to add all kinds of warming filters, cooling filters, and other types of filters as well. If you want a sepia type tone, you can add that one. You can also adjust the color of that filter from here. But we want to stick with a warming filter for now. I'm going to select filter 85. And then if you want to preserve the luminosity so that the color is being applied mainly to the highlights and not to all the different colors in your image, you want to make sure this is still checked. You can also increase the density to increase the intensity of that warming filter. So that looks a little unnatural. Go too low, you don't see it very well. So the default is 25%, and I'll stick between 15 and 30%. I think for this one we'll just keep it at 25%, and that's it. The warming filter has now been applied. Let's go ahead and remove this. Okay, so that's the warming filter. I think it helps with the overall tone of the image that was shot on a hot summer day. We have our light leaks, and now let's group all these layers. I'm going to click on this layer, but first I need to hold down my Shift key to make sure everything else in between is selected. Then with my keyboard shortcut Command or Control and the letter G, we group all those layers together, and then we can take a look at the before and after. So that's the original image. We now have a nice warm light leak. We have a nice haze on our image. We've set up a overall warm tone to the image, and we also added a little bit of a spotlight, which you can kind of see coming in here, and it helps bring the focus back into our couple. Alright, so that concludes this lesson on light leaks. Go ahead and practice with the image that came with this course. It's this exact same photo. So that'll make it easier for you to practice, and then go ahead and practice on your own images as well. Go ahead and submit your image into the Q&A section if you would like me to review it. And I hope you enjoyed this series on Photoshop light effects. If you have any questions, please post them in the Q&A, and thanks for listening. Have an awesome day.